Christmas Eve in Ohio cut through my coat as I stood before the new glossy door on Hollow Creek. My phone was still warm from Grandpa Elliot's call. "Eliza, come now. I'm at your parents' place," he'd said, sounding buoyant, like a man hiding a wrapped secret behind his back. Elliot Ward, Chicago builder, always in motion, always between flights or deals, rarely detoured to Ohio. His voice, bright with joy, pulled me across the frozen streets. Warmth and the scent of rosemary greeted me as I stepped inside. A fire glowed in the hearth, a roast crackled in the oven. Grandpa stood at the head of the table, his eyes bright, cedar cologne curling through the air, unspooling 100 softer memories. He hugged me tightly, as though I was the only gift worth unwrapping. "Eliza, do you like the house?" he asked, practically beaming at the crown molding. "It's nice," I said evenly. "But it's my parents' house, not mine." The silence that followed felt like a pane of glass shattering. My father, Graham, went chalk white, the stem of his wine glass ticking against his knuckle. Sylvia's smile stayed painted on, but her eyes flashed sharp, the way a blade catches light. On the wall hung a new gallery of family photos. Graham, Sylvia, my half-brother Brennan grinning under stadium lights, and me, always at the edge of the frame, a prop pulled in at the last second. "Your parents' house?" Grandpa repeated, the brightness gone from his voice, replaced by winter's chill. "Explain." I looked at Graham, waiting for him to say something that wasn't an evasion. He stared into the fireplace, as if the stones might rescue him. Sylvia leaned forward first. "Elliot, there's a misunderstanding. We're one family, the house." But Grandpa didn't look at her. His eyes stayed on me. He had that rare ability to make the whole room vanish until only the truth remained. And truth, I'd learned, never arrived gently. "All right," I said, pulling out the chair he'd left for me. "If you want the truth, you'll have it, start to finish." I grew up in a town where everyone waved, and I learned early that love could be rationed. My mother, Dina, died the week I was born. Graham wore grief like armor. When he married Sylvia, the house rearranged itself around Brennan. Bikes and trophies for him. For me, an attic room with a sloped ceiling and a thrift store coat. "Be grateful," Sylvia would say. I worked after school, stacking shelves, saving for community college. When I asked about tuition, Graham told me there wasn't enough. Brennan had potential. I didn't argue. I learned the hum of fluorescent lights and the sound of a register that opened for everyone but me. Then came the invitations, holidays, anniversaries, carefully timed texts. Each time, I brought small gifts that went unopened while Sylvia performed gratitude for neighbors. And always the photos. "Eliza, scoot in," she'd say, placing me at the frame's edge. I thought they were trying to be kind. Turns out, they were pretending for someone else. This Christmas, someone stood in their living room backlit by garlands. And when I told Grandpa I didn't live there, his eyes sharpened. "Graham," he said, 2 years ago, I wired you $400,000 to purchase a 3-bedroom home for Eliza. I specified the deed. Where is it?" Graham swallowed hard. Sylvia searched for a script and found none. The gallery of pictures around us stared like silent witnesses to a lie. "It's in our name," Graham finally said. "We believed it would serve the family." "It was never yours to keep," Grandpa replied, voice cold and measured. Then he turned to me. "Pack a bag, come to Chicago. We'll fix this, and you'll start fresh." I took his hand. Yes. Grandpa didn't stay for dessert. He walked me into the Christmas cold, his hand firm on my shoulder. At the hotel, he spoke plainly. He had been sending money for years, tuition, clothes, everything, trusting Graham to pass it on. The house was the last check. My breath hitched as my past rearranged itself in my mind. "Let me handle the legal part," he said. "But I'll do whatever you want." "I don't want a courtroom," I told him. "I just want a clean start." We flew to Chicago at dawn. The winter sun stitched a new horizon outside O'Hare. At his home, a gracious space smelling of lemon and pine, he showed me a room, a desk, and with them, a future that didn't apologize. That night, I slept like someone finally allowed to. The paperwork moved quietly. The deed was corrected, then the house sold. I enrolled in civil engineering and started working at Grandpa's company, learning blueprints and budgets. Work, I realized, made sense. In March, a letter arrived from Graham, remorse scribbled in cramped handwriting. He wrote that Sylvia and Brennan had left, that he was trying to become a better man. I replied once, "Be decent." It was the only forgiveness I could give without reopening the wound. Months later, Brennan stopped me on a Chicago sidewalk, thinner, uncertain. "Help me," he said. "You can do hard things," I told him. "Start there." 2 winters later, I returned to Ohio for one evening. I stood on the curb outside that house, no longer mine, no longer theirs, and felt nothing pull. On the flight back, the lake shimmered below. I pressed my hand against the window and believed it. I was home. And I was free.